in the stillness of a serene forest, where sunlight filters through a canopy of green, and the soft rustle of leaves whispers ancient truths, one profound question lingers in the air. What does it mean to be truly strong? The world often equates strength with physical dominance, material success, or the ability to assert control. It's measured by the weight one can lift, the wealth one accumulates, or the influence one wields. Yet, these markers are fleeting, bound to the impermanence of external circumstances. When the storms of life strike, they offer little shelter. In the teachings of Zen and Buddhist philosophy, strength takes on a deeper, quieter meaning. It is not found in what we can conquer outside ourselves, but in the resilience of our spirit, the clarity of a mindful heart, and the grace with which we navigate life's uncertainties. True strength is like water. It adapts, flows around obstacles, and nourishes everything in its path. It does not resist, it transforms. Imagine a life where you are unshaken by chaos, where challenges are not barriers but opportunities for growth. This is the strength Zen teaches us to cultivate, a strength rooted in presence, compassion, and an unyielding trust in life's impermanence. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover 6 profound signs of a truly strong person. Through timeless Zen wisdom, practical insights, and inspiring stories, we will explore how these principles can transform your inner world and guide you toward a strength that endures, no matter what life brings. As you listen, consider this. True strength is already within you, waiting to be awakened. Let's begin. The traveler hesitated, but followed the sage out of the hut. They walked along a narrow path through the forest, where the sound of a bubbling brook intertwined with the rustling leaves. The sage stopped by the stream and dipped his hand into the cool water, letting it flow through his fingers. "Do you see how the water moves?" he asked. "It adapts, flows around obstacles, yet remains steady in its essence." Strength, too, is about adaptability, not rigid resistance. As they continued, the sage pointed to an ancient tree whose roots clung firmly to the rocky soil. This tree has weathered storms for centuries. Its strength is not in fighting the wind, but in remaining grounded, bending with the force of nature. To find strength, you must root yourself in values that nourish you while allowing life to flow around you. Further down the path, they encountered a field of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. The sage knelt to pluck a small blossom and handed it to the traveler. Even the smallest flower embraces its purpose fully, without seeking to be more than it is. Strength comes from finding joy in simplicity and being content with who you are. The traveler, now intrigued, followed the sage into a quiet clearing where they paused. The sage gestured to the open sky, its vastness unbroken by clouds. The sky does not cling to the storms that pass. It lets them go, knowing they are temporary. Similarly, true strength lies in releasing what no longer serves you. As the sun began to set, painting the horizon in hues of gold, the sage turned to the traveler. Strength is not something you acquire. It is something you uncover within. With every step, we learn to let go, adapt, and live with purpose. These truths are already within you. Shall we continue? The traveler nodded, feeling the weight of his burdens begin to lift. For the first time in years, he sensed the quiet stirrings of strength awakening within. 1. Mastering the art of letting go. The seeker stared at the lake, its surface calm and expansive, reflecting the sky above. "But how do I expand my mind?" he asked, his voice tinged with frustration. The master gestured toward the rippling water. The lake is not concerned with holding onto every leaf or branch that falls into it. It accepts them, lets them drift, and eventually returns to its natural state. You must learn to do the same with your pain and burdens. The seeker was silent, contemplating the idea, but isn't letting go just a way of avoiding responsibility? The master shook his head and smiled. Letting go is not about avoidance. It is about choosing what serves your journey and releasing what is not. Clinging to regret, anger, or fear is like trying to hold on to a flame. It only burns you. By letting go, you free your hands to receive something new. They began walking back toward the hut, and along the way, The master picked up a stone and placed it in the seeker's palm. "Carry this," he said. At first, the seeker found the stone insignificant, but as they walked farther, the weight grew unbearable. When they finally reached the hut, the seeker dropped the stone with relief. The master nodded. "You see, even something small becomes heavy when you carry it too long." The seeker reflected on his own burdens, the guilt over past mistakes, the disappointment of unmet expectations, and the resentment toward those who had wronged him. He realized that by holding on to these emotions, he was trapping himself in a cycle of suffering. Letting go is not about denying the existence of pain, but about transforming its impact. Like the salt in the lake, the pain does not disappear. Instead, it is diffused into a larger perspective. By expanding our capacity to accept and move forward, we dilute the bitterness and reclaim our peace. Practical steps to let go. 1. Identify what burdens you, resentments, regrets, or fears, and write them down to externalize them. 2. Engage in a letting go ritual, such as burning the paper, symbolizing release. 3. Practice mindfulness or meditation to focus on the present and detach from the weight of the past. 4. Trust that releasing what no longer serves you opens space for growth, opportunities, and joy. With this practice, the seeker began to sense the freedom of a lighter spirit. His journey no longer weighed down by unnecessary burdens. 2. Embracing the present moment. The traveler, puzzled by the monk's response, watched as the monk continued tending his garden, each movement deliberate and full of care. "But wouldn't you want to do something extraordinary if it were your last day?" the traveler pressed. The monk paused, looking up from the soil. What could be more extraordinary than this moment? To live fully now is the greatest gift one can give to life itself. The traveler began to observe the monk's actions more closely. He noticed how the monk gently caressed the leaves, carefully placed each seed, and even paused to admire the sunlight glinting on a droplet of water. Each action seemed sacred, infused with an unspoken gratitude. The traveler realized that the monk was not simply gardening. He was engaging with life in its purest form, unburdened by the past or anxious about the future. As they talked further, the monk shared a parable. Imagine carrying two heavy bags, one filled with regrets of the past and the other with fears of the future. How far could you travel? Now imagine letting them go, walking freely with only the present moment to guide you. Which journey would you choose? Living in the present moment does not mean ignoring responsibilities or avoiding planning. It means focusing on the task at hand with full attention, without allowing the mind to drift into unnecessary worries or lingering guilt. True strength lies in the ability to immerse yourself in the present, finding joy and meaning in even the simplest of actions. Practical steps to embrace the present. 1. Practice mindfulness daily. Take a few minutes each day to focus solely on your breath or the sensations in your body, grounding yourself in the present. 2. Redirect distractions. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back by asking, "What is the most important thing I can do right now?" 3. Create grounding rituals. Engage in activities like savoring a cup of tea, going for a walk in nature, or journaling, paying attention to every detail of the experience. 4. Set reminders to pause. Use a simple bell or timer during your day to remind yourself to pause and check in with the present moment. By adopting these practices, the traveler began to see life differently, not as a series of fleeting moments, but as an unfolding gift to be cherished fully. Each breath, each step, became a testament to the power of living in the now. 3. Practicing compassion for self and others. The novice monk sat cross-legged, his brow furrowed in frustration. Despite hours of meditation, his mind refused to quiet. "Why can't I do this?" he muttered under his breath, noticing the young monk's distress. The elder monk sat beside him. "Why are you so hard on yourself?" he asked gently. The novice looked up, his face flushed with embarrassment. "Because I should be better by now," he replied. The elder monk smiled softly and pointed to a sparrow fluttering nearby. "Would you scold that sparrow for struggling to fly?" he asked. The novice shook his head. "Of course not. It's just learning." The elder placed a reassuring hand on the novice's shoulder. Then why do you scold yourself for learning to grow? Be gentle, and you will soar. This moment of kindness sparked a realization in the novice. Compassion, he learned, begins within. When we treat ourselves with the same patience and understanding we extend to others, we create a foundation of resilience. It's from this place of self-compassion that true strength emerges, a strength that enables us to connect deeply with others and face life's challenges with an open heart. Compassion is often misunderstood as weakness, but it requires immense strength to soften the walls of judgment, both toward ourselves and the world. It's the courage to forgive, the humility to accept imperfections, and the wisdom to offer love where there is pain. Practical steps to cultivate compassion. 1. Encourage yourself. Write a note of encouragement as if you were comforting a dear friend facing the same challenges. Read it whenever self-doubt arises. 2. Daily acts of kindness. Perform one small act of kindness each day. Offer a smile, a helping hand, or even a kind thought. 3. Replace criticism with understanding. When self-critical thoughts arise, pause and reframe them. Instead of saying, "I failed," try, "I'm learning, and that's okay." By practicing compassion for yourself, you create the strength to extend that same kindness to others. The novice monk's journey was just beginning, but with self-compassion as his guide, he was already soaring toward a deeper sense of peace and purpose. 4. Staying unshaken by external circumstances. The villagers often marveled at the farmer's calm demeanor, especially when misfortune or joy visited his life. "How can you be so indifferent?" one of them once asked. The farmer looked up from his work and replied, "It's not indifference, it's understanding. Life moves like the seasons, sometimes warm, sometimes cold. I've learned not to fight the seasons, but to adapt to them." This simple wisdom reflects a profound truth. The strength to remain unshaken comes from recognizing the impermanence of all things. Whether joy or sorrow, success or failure, life's events are like waves. They rise and fall, but the ocean remains vast and steady. The farmer's equanimity was not a lack of emotion, but a mastery of perspective. He understood that no event, however grand or devastating, could define his entire existence. Equanimity requires more than just patience. It calls for acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation, but rather the willingness to face life as it is, without resistance. It's about acknowledging that while you cannot control every event, you can control your response. This inner stability allows you to navigate life's uncertainties with grace. Consider the story of a young woman who lost her job unexpectedly. Initially devastated, she remembered the mantra, "This too shall pass," and chose to focus on what she could control. She used her time to develop new skills and eventually found a better opportunity that aligned more closely with her passions. Her resilience came from shifting her focus from what she had lost to what she could create. Practical steps to stay unshaken. 1. Practice acceptance. When faced with challenges, repeat the mantra, "This too shall pass." It serves as a gentle reminder of life's impermanence. 2. Focus on what you can control. List the aspects of a situation that you can influence and let go of the rest. 3. Cultivate inner stability. Dedicate time daily to meditation or mindfulness practices to strengthen your ability to remain calm. Gratitude journaling can also help you focus on the positives, even in difficult times. By embracing these practices, you can develop the resilience to face life's ups and downs with steady confidence, just like the farmer who understood that every season, whether harsh or kind, is part of the greater cycle of life. 5. Finding joy in simplicity. The Zen master's modest hut, barely large enough for a mat and a small table, seemed barren to the traveler. "How can you live like this, with so little?" the traveler asked. Gesturing to the empty room, the master only smiled and pointed outside to the morning sun casting golden light over the trees. "Why would I need more when the world offers me so much?" The traveler was silent, pondering the master's words. He realized that the master's joy was not tied to what he owned, but to the richness of the present moment. Every sunrise, the rustling of the leaves, and the taste of a simple meal were sources of profound contentment. This simplicity was not about deprivation, but about stripping away distractions to focus on what truly mattered. In modern life, we often equate happiness with accumulation, more possessions, more achievements, more experiences. Yet, this endless pursuit often leaves us feeling restless and unsatisfied. True strength, as the Zen master taught, comes from finding joy in what we already have. Simplicity allows us to see beauty in the ordinary and appreciate the abundance we often overlook. Consider a woman who decided to declutter her home after years of holding on to unnecessary items. As she let go of objects that no longer served her, she felt a surprising lightness. With fewer distractions, she found herself enjoying quiet evenings with her family, savoring the simplicity of a shared meal. Her life became richer, not through addition but through subtraction. Practical steps to find joy in simplicity. 1. Declutter your space. Begin by letting go of possessions that no longer bring value or joy. A clean, simple environment fosters mental clarity. 2. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down 3 simple joys every day: a kind word, the warmth of sunlight, or a moment of stillness. 3. Reconnect with nature. Spend time outdoors, appreciating the natural world's quiet beauty. A walk in the park or a moment under the stars can remind you of life's simple wonders. By embracing simplicity, we not only free ourselves from the weight of excess, but also cultivate gratitude and resilience. The Zen master's lesson echoes a universal truth. Life's greatest joys are often found in life's simplest moments. 6. Turning challenges into opportunities. As the abbot stood amidst the ruins of the monastery, his disciples gathered around him, their faces marked with despair. The once sacred space, where they had meditated and studied for years, lay in ruins. Yet, the abbot's expression was serene. "This storm has not destroyed us," he said, picking up a fragment of wood. "It has given us an opportunity to build something even stronger." The disciples, inspired by his calm resolve, began the arduous process of rebuilding. They worked together, brick by brick, infusing the new structure with a shared sense of purpose. Over time, the rebuilt monastery stood as a testament to their resilience, even more robust and beautiful than before. What once seemed like a disaster had become the foundation for something greater. Challenges, like the storm that struck the monastery, are often seen as setbacks, but in truth, they are moments of transformation, opportunities to grow and adapt. The lotus flower, a powerful symbol in Buddhist teachings, blooms in muddy water. It is not in spite of the mud, but because of it that the lotus finds its strength and beauty. In our own lives, challenges often feel overwhelming, like insurmountable barriers. However, they hold valuable lessons if we approach them with a mindset of growth. A man once lost his job, an experience that initially filled him with fear and uncertainty. Instead of succumbing to despair, he asked himself, "What can I learn from this?" Over time, he discovered a passion for teaching and built a new career that brought him fulfillment he had never imagined. Practical steps to turn challenges into opportunities. 1. Ask, "What can I learn?" Shift your perspective from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this teaching me?" 2. Break down obstacles. Tackle challenges by dividing them into smaller, manageable tasks. Focus on progress, not perfection. 3. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge even the smallest steps forward. Each milestone is a reminder of your growth and resilience. By approaching adversity with curiosity and determination, you can transform even the darkest moments into stepping stones toward personal growth. The abbot's wisdom teaches us that strength is not in avoiding storms, but in using them to build a stronger foundation for the future. As the traveler stood at the summit, the view before him was breathtaking. A vast expanse of valleys, rivers, and forests stretching endlessly beneath the open sky. Yet, the greatest transformation wasn't the scenery, it was the clarity within himself. He now understood the sage's teachings not as abstract lessons, but as truths he had lived through. True strength, he realized, is not about conquering the world, but about mastering one's inner world. By learning to let go of burdens, the traveler felt a lightness he had never experienced before. Living in the present had taught him to savor life's simple joys, a gentle breeze, the warmth of the sun, the rhythm of his breath. Practicing compassion, both for himself and others, had opened his heart, connecting him to the people and world around him. And embracing simplicity had shown him that happiness isn't in acquiring more, but in appreciating what he already had. But the most profound realization came as he descended the mountain. He noticed how his newfound calm and strength influenced those he met along the way. A kind word, a steady presence, or a simple smile seemed to uplift others, as though his inner light was igniting theirs. Strength, he understood, isn't just personal, it ripples outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully see. Every step you take on your own journey to inner strength has the same power. By embodying resilience, presence, compassion, and simplicity, you become a beacon for others, showing them what's possible. Remember, the journey to inner strength doesn't require perfection. It begins with one mindful step. Trust in the process, and let your inner light guide you. The ripple effect of your strength will create waves of inspiration, touching lives far beyond your own. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the depths of inner strength and wisdom. If these teachings resonated with you, don't let the inspiration stop here. Subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content on Zen, Buddhist philosophy, and mindful living. By subscribing, you ensure you'll never miss a moment to grow, reflect, and transform your life. We'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments which of these 6 signs of strength speaks to you the most and how you plan to apply it in your own journey. Your insights and experiences might just inspire someone else to take their first mindful step. Let's walk this path of growth together, one step, one breath, one mindful moment at a time. Your journey is just beginning, and we're honored to be a part of it. See you in the next video.